Hello, Dr. Brant Hulsebus here, and welcome to another edition of Ask the Chiropractor. Ask the Chiropractor is my little podcast that I do. When someone has a question about chiropractic or chiropractic care, I try to answer. I'm a chiropractor here in Rockford, Illinois. I'm a proud graduate of Palmer College of Chiropractic, and I'm happy to be the team chiropractor of the Rockford Ice Hogs. Let's dive into it. We want to talk about headaches, in particular tension headaches. I've done many podcasts about different types of headaches, but today I want to talk about tension headaches in specific. So a tension headache, a lot of the research has come out that chiropractic can offer help. We offer help in two different ways. One, short-term health. So if you're having a headache, a tension headache at that moment, and you came in and you saw a chiropractor and you got a chiropractic adjustment, people report that they get relief almost immediately. Long term, though, making sure that you don't keep having these headaches, there's also been a lot of big studies on this. And it shows that a lot of the tension headaches deals with your cervical posture. So let's dive in a little bit about how a chiropractor would look at you, how a chiropractor would analyze you, and how a chiropractor might take a look at if you were suffering tension headaches. The first thing is you go to a chiropractor, you'd fill out a health history like you would any other healthcare provider. The chiropractor then would take time to do an examination of your cervical spine. Your cervical spine is the area of your neck. The cervical spine is the number one area we're looking at when it comes to tension headaches. The very top two bones in your cervical spine can have a lot to do with this. You see, the midbrain can and does sometimes interact with these two bones. And when we do chiropractic adjustments in these two bones, we can affect the midbrain and therefore help a lot with headaches. And how do we know these two bones would be involved? There's basically two different ways we do it. One is through a chiropractic exam. Chiropractic exam might have you turn your head left and right. The chiropractor themselves might take their fingers and feel underneath your jaw, maybe behind your head, maybe see how your head glides or how your head doesn't glide, and start with that. But the number one way to look at these two is an upright stand-up x-ray. And this x-ray looks like when you just stand up and you open your mouth real big. You open your mouth real big. So I always get asked this every time we take the x-ray because your teeth hide those bones. You can't see them because your teeth are in the way. So we have you open your mouth really wide so we can see behind these bones. And that gives us what we call an upper cervical listing. Again, cervical means neck and upper obviously is the top two bones, your first and second one. So we'd have you take that x-ray. Then we'd also follow up with the rest of the neck, front to back, what we call A to P. Then we'd have you turn to the side. And when we turn to the side, we're looking at a lot of things. Basically, I like to call it the health of your spine. We get to look at your posture, we get to look at your disc spacing, we get to measure to see if there's any degenerative arthritis changes or any other thing like an ankylosing spondylosis, which is a situation that we see a lot. The only way we can detect these things is through x-ray, though. So if the chiropractor determines that your top two bones on your neck are misaligned, they'll start a care plan for you. Try to help make these corrections. And how do we do these corrections? We use our chiropractic adjustments. We use our hands. Now, there's many different styles and techniques of chiropractic adjustments in this area. Myself, this is the first two bones we learned how to adjust when I went to chiropractic school with a technique called toggle recoil, where we lay you on your side and the headpiece gives away when we do our adjustment. So you might not actually feel what you see on these social media videos, all that popping and noises, but what you will feel is the table give loose, the table break loose, and you feel the adjustment happen like that. A lot of people tell me when I do this adjustment, they don't really feel a lot. They hear a lot because the table is loud, but they don't really feel a lot when I do this adjustment. Another way to do this adjustment is have you maybe sit in a chair and come stand up behind you and do an adjustment like that. Another way is to have you lay on your back and do this adjustment. Some chiropractors also use what they call the chest table, where you literally get on your hands and knees, and there's a special piece you put your head in, and you get adjusted. So there's many different ways this adjustment might look depending on the chiropractor you go to. Now, in my office, the way I do it is the way I'm really good at doing it, and the way your x-rays and stuff show me. So I can have two different methods depending on what your x-rays show me and how you palpate and how the exam shows us. So that's how we take care of the ones like you come in the clinic, hey, I'm having a tension headache right now. Could you please help me? But let's talk about the reoccurring ones. A lot of people have reoccurring tension headaches and they want to know if they can get to a solution. So maybe one day these will decrease in their frequency and severity and just go away. So how do we do those ones? Well, the research shows us that these ones are really basically coming from bad cervical posture. So when you have bad cervical posture, what does that look like? We took the x-ray from the side and we wanted to see how your bones lined up. You should have a nice C-shaped curve in your neck looking at it from the side. That's the way the bones are designed to hold the weight of the head. You see, the human head weighs the same as almost a bowling ball. And for every inch forward the human head goes over the shoulders, it creates 10 pounds of downward pressure, and that builds up the tension in the cervical spine. We often talk about concussions and whether or not we can tell if someone's going to have good outcome or bad outcome of a concussion based on the strength of the neck. The number one indicator that your concussion might not be as bad as it would be if not would be by your cervical curve or your neck and your curve that gives us the overall evaluation of the health of your neck. Meaning that if you have a bad cervical curve and you get a concussion, it could be more severe than if you had a good cervical curve and got a concussion. So these are things that we look at and analyze. Now, let's say you come in and we take your x-rays, you've had frequent tension headaches, we give you the adjustment, we give you relief, and we see that you don't have a good cervical curve. We have to fix this cervical curve. And there's been lots of different methods and trial ways to fix these cervical curves over the year. The first step, though, every time for the best results, been proven over and over again, is you got to get your neck adjusted first. We got to get rid of the fixations in your neck. The chiropractor has to loosen your neck up first and make it ability to change. Just simply saying I want to fix my neck posture without the adjustment doesn't work nearly as good because the bones are stuck and fixated before you see the chiropractor. You see, when these bones are stuck and fixated, they don't want to move that much because the body's trying to protect them from further damage. Now, this is a stress response, and there's stress chemicals that get released at the joints when this happens, and they travel down the nerve roots and go to different body parts. That's why sometimes people have tension headaches. They also might have problems in their fingers and their hands. And there's even been some really cool evidence showing that it could affect the cardiovascular system, should it affect the bottom cervicals, the base of your neck. So as chiropractors, we want to make these corrections. We want to make these bones move again. So we go in and we adjust them. These things are called subluxations. And like I said, we do a chiropractic adjustment to correct a subluxation. Only chiropractors are trained to do this. There's doctors that are trained to manipulate the neck, but chiropractors are going in for more of a specific focus and a specific type of technique to get the results that we need to get. So go see a chiropractor and get your neck adjusted. Step one. Step two now is we have to come up with ways to fix the neck posture. The first thing we'd ask ourselves is what makes our neck posture bad? And that typically comes from the sitting position. When I sit, my shoulders naturally roll forward and my head protrudes out over my shoulders. That's the position. Now, if you put a keyboard in front of me or if you put a steering wheel in front of me like I'm driving a car, it's even more. And some of us have gotten away from maybe sitting. Hey, I don't sit when I use my computer, I stand. And that's better. However, you're still reaching forward to use your keyboard and then looking at your monitor. So it's better, but it's not quite the solution. The other problems that lead to this is even if you're standing and like working on your workbench or maybe working in the kitchen, making dinner for everybody, you're still hunched over, shoulders forward, head forward. Lastly, another thing that does this a lot is reading a book or reading your phone or staring at your phone. These are also things that cause this. I know today they call it tech neck, but I will tell you it existed before tech because reading a book is the same posture, same position. So these are all areas that can affect your overall posture and what's going on. In today's world, we do lots and lots of this. So we have to talk about ways to not only fix the neck curve, but things that create these problems and how to address them. Number one, I always say there's no healthy way to eat a Snickers. You can go on a treadmill and do it. You'll do it better, but there's no healthy way to eat a Snickers. But if you had a stand-up desk and if you had other ways to move your monitor around, keyboard around, this is better, but it's not going to resolve the situation. It might make you last longer between having to have your neck corrected, but nevertheless, it doesn't resolve the situation. So we've all been talked about how you have to take a break. Like every 20 minutes, you have to stand up, push away from all that stuff, put the phone down, book down, move away from the computer. Ideally, you can't just get away from the steering wheel that easily, but hopefully you take a break when you're driving and you just retract your chin without looking down, just bring it straight back and then squeeze your shoulder blades together and count to 10. That helps get your body to stop rolling forward more. I know in the past when I had many people work on this, they will lay down flat and put their arms flat at the same time on the floor of the wall and try to move their arms around, and they would literally feel pulling in their chest. The reason they feel in their chest muscles is because they've had their shoulders together so long that the chest muscles have actually shrunk and gotten shorter. And so when they pull it back, they're literally feeling the muscles get tugged and pulled and opening back up again. So these are great stretches to do. Now, your chiropractor will have more exercises for you, too, to do on a routine basis. But I want to interject here about some of the newest research and stuff coming out. You see, your neck muscles are your most highly neurologically innervated muscles in your entire body. They have 272 muscle spindles or connections per square millimeter. What does that mean? The next closest is your TMJ with 70. So that's a lot more. And so they're starting to show maybe some of these muscular traction units that people use, or they've seen people like with special pillows where they horse their head back. And this is a great stretch. This is a good thing. These are not negative things, but they're not getting the long-term results we're looking for. There's things people hang off the doors. There's things that people lay on the edge of a step with their head over. And again, these are fantastic things because they're getting you back in the posture and training your musculature to go back there. However, I'm finding that it's not enough. So we just recently instituted, after going to the Professional Hockey Chiropractic Society and the team chiropractor for an AHL hockey team, what we've learned is that maybe we need to do neurological reconditioning as well. And so we've come up with some neurological activities that we have our patients do while they're doing their stretches to add even more of a bonus on it. The key is to put yourself in that good posture and then do neurological activities to not only teach your musculature the proper neck posture, but also neurologically, since these muscles are just so highly neurologically innervated. I want you to understand how highly innervated these are. When I grew up, I was learning about skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle. Today, they're saying the researchers showed there's a fourth type of muscle called stabilization muscles. And those are the ones all around your spine, stability muscles. And they always have a job, and that's to keep your spine and you in an upright position. And so we want to challenge these muscles by doing stability exercises, posture exercises, and neurological activity to reinforce the posture we want. And your chiropractor is uniquely trained to not only give you the chiropractic adjustment, but to also customize a care exercise program for your neck posture. By getting your neck posture back, you remove the tension on the spinal cord and the central nervous system, and therefore your tension headaches should start to go away and clear up. When we see long-term correction of tension headaches, there's always a whole part about curve correction as well. So I hope I answered these questions about tension headaches and what the chiropractor can do, both at the moment you're having the headache, but more importantly, long-term, to make the headache stop and make them stop coming over and over again. And also how it's a lifetime activity that we all should be partaking in to make sure our cervical spine stay as healthy as they possibly can be. Like always, if you have a question about chiropractic or chiropractic care, the only person qualified to answer that is a chiropractor. Physical therapists, massage therapists, orthopedic surgeons, your family doctor, the ER doctor, the people who work at these clinics, none of them went to chiropractic school. None of their education had anything to do with chiropractic. Maybe one paragraph along the way, and one day they learned a little bit about what we do. So never ask anybody whether the chiropractor can help or don't help. We see it all the time, people come in our office after years and years of suffering because somebody who has no education on chiropractic told the patient they shouldn't come to the chiropractor. Then we see them 3 or 4 times. They're already finally getting their health restored. There's just no reason to go through that. If you have questions about chiropractic or chiropractic care, the only person qualified to answer those questions would be a chiropractor. And if you'd like me to answer your questions sometime, leave a comment wherever you're watching this or listening to this, and I'll get back to you and answer your question next time. Keep tuning in because maybe next time I'll be answering your question. Thanks for all the feedback, and remember, if you like this, like it, subscribe, share with other people. And I'd love to help you if you have tension headaches. Please leave us a call. Thank you.